What's up, guys? Greg Haw here with I Like Collectibles. Today I have a very special guest. I have Cesar Morales. He is with the comic Fanzine. He's one of the co-hosts of that podcast. Let me bring him in here. Thank you so much for joining me, Cesar. What's up, man?
No, all pleasure is mine, man. Everything's good. Everything's fine, and windy here in New Mexico, and I do mean windy and cold. But I love the state. What can I say? It's my new state. When you're a Cali boy your whole life, and then all of a sudden you get snow and seasons, it kind of makes me a little giddy. But it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm born and raised in Florida, so I don't get the snow stuff, but it's been cold here too.
Yeah. I went to Florida once. Never again. It's just the way it is, man. I can't do it. I can't. I don't. I'm not in the mood to take 17 showers. I'm fine.
Yeah, very humid, very humid. So tell us a little bit. I mentioned at the very beginning that you're a co-host of a podcast. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that podcast, how that got started, and how long you've been doing it.
Comic Fanzine's been around for a couple of years now, and it was started by Dale Guzman and Brett Todd and a bunch of other people that they first started getting along and going, hey, we always talk about comics. Is that why don't we just do a podcast? And it started off doing like that, where they were just talking crap and a bunch of people, like 6 people on the screen, and you start having to share them out and all that stuff. People start commenting and all that. And then it started getting through a couple of years. I joined, I want to say over a year ago. And then it started becoming more of starting bringing in guests. They started bringing in a lot of artists, writers. They back a lot of Kickstarters. If someone who's pimping their new comic book or their new whatever on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, they go in there and we talk about it. And other times we have basically just a shit show, which is just nonsense. No guests, but we have a special guest. We had you on the show once. Uh, it was a blast, and it's fun to get different perspectives from different people, and it's just fun. We talk about movies, TV shows, characters, books. Now, I'm known as the non-reader. Believe it or not, I've never read a comic book in my life, and I've been collecting since the '90s, like everybody else.
Wow,
My generation collecting in the '90s. Never, ever, ever read a book. Never.
really?
Yeah, you know what? And I get a good ribbing. Nothing too serious, but they're kind of like, "Hey, don't give that book to Caesar. What's he gonna do with it?" But
Yeah.
yeah.
So what brings you into the comic books then? The covers, I'm guessing, the artwork.
Okay, so this is an interesting story. In the '80s, when I was a small boy, I I saw a Justice League comic book, and I opened it up, and I'm like, "Oh, you send away, you mail it, and you get a comic book every month." And I need to borrow 12
Yeah.
bucks or whatever it is, from my parents. And so I did that. And the first book I got, well, apparently I didn't pick Justice League of America. Apparently I chose what is it, the Justice Society or the inner, that other crap, that other
Yeah.
Justice with Dawn or the Timber and all that. What? And I never opened any of them. They all came in, and I just put it away. So I think that might have been what actually now that I see doctor, now that I'm talking to you like a therapist, I think that explains why I never read any books because I was turned away from that young age. But honestly, Captain Justice League versus the Legion of Doom as a kid growing up, watching the cartoons,
Yeah.
watching repeats of the old 1960s Fantastic Four, growing up watching Amazing Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. So I've always liked because of the cartoons kind of. So when you in the '90s when I started getting a job and I could spend money, I would go to my local LCS and pick up a book if I liked the cover. That's a cool cover. That's a cool art because I never read, right? So I just liked it for the art. Oh, it's number one. Great. We'll kind of find out everyone was doing number ones in the '90s. You know, I have
Yeah.
boxes of Brigade, Wetworks, Union, all the crap that nobody wants. I'm hoping one day they're going to make a movie of one of those so I could actually purge it. But
You'll hit the
and that's what it is. So I stopped collecting it. I stopped collecting for a very long time. Picked it up in 2018 and decided, oh, what are these new things called slabs? And what's this going on? And oh, I think I'm just going to collect keys. And that's what I am. I'm just an absolute, I'm just like a key collector. That's it. I don't do runs. I don't do anything else.
Cool. Cool. So you answered a few of my other questions in there about like how you got into comics in the first place. So it sounds like your roots really come from the cartoons,
Yeah.
and that's pretty neat. I'm a big X-Men '90s guy. That got me hooked too. The X-Men in the '90s was my life.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
it's cool to hear.
I didn't, I don't know. I just didn't get, I saw it, but never really got into it. The same thing as I never got into Ninja Turtles. I know that's your jam. I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't own it. I didn't watch a cartoon. It might have been past my time. Same thing with Power Rangers and shit like that. I don't vibe with it. It was past me. So I don't get it. But that's me, right? Because I'm not born of that era. But people love the turtle stuff, man. You guys are freaks for this turtle.
Absolutely, it makes a big difference. Like you say, when you're born, it makes a big difference. When you're a kid, it's very impressionable. So, Spidey and Amazing Friends, that makes sense. But it still it holds down. Though. I think it's on Disney Plus. You can watch it. I think my son's always trying to go through there, watching all the different Spider-Man shows. I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus now. Have you seen
Yeah,
it on there?
they have the '60s ones in there too, and it's fun, man. It's good. It's clean. It's so wholesome. It's very bad animation,
Yeah.
but it's a good little throwback, And but I grew up on Voltron. I mean, I did watch the Voltron when I got home from school. He-Man was my jam. Robotech was my very first um, novella of a cartoon. That's the first time I ever saw people kiss in a cartoon. People were dying in a cartoon. It was
Yeah.
blown away. There's like drama and relationships and all that stuff. So that got me into the whole anime stuff, and that's where it stopped because I'm also not an anime guy either. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not big into anime myself either. Cool. So yeah, what's the first comic that you remember buying? Was it that JLA that you were talking about?
Probably that shitty jelly. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I don't even have it anymore. Who knows where it's at? You know, uh, I tell you what, though, my first slab that I bought, I think, was the that Lobo, that Omega Man 3. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was my very first slab. If not, it was an Eternals, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! I got an Eternals for $70 or whatever it was, 9 point or 8 point, whatever." And for all you young people who are just starting out, pick and choose what you want to do, and make sure you have a job because this thing could get pretty pricey. This is a
It
very
does.
pricey hobby.
It is, and in 2021, people felt that big time. So that's another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about. Current market, what are you thinking here? In 2021, prices were out of control, craziness. 2022 seems like it's kind of coming down a little bit. Are you thinking it's going back to a buyer's market? You think it's still a
Right
seller's
now,
market?
it's a buyer's market. There are deals and deals and deals to be had because there's some people out there that time's tough. We're going through a lot of layoffs. A lot of tech companies are laying off. Amazon's laying off 10,000. Salesforce laid off 10% of their workforce. There's so many layoffs. So many people lose their jobs. And if you're in all the comic groups, and Greg, you're as many as I am. There's people who are selling these books because, as they would put it, times are tough, or you got to feed the family. And a book that would normally sell for 1,300, they're letting it go for 9. You know, and even then, it's still not selling. So not only is it a buyer's market, there's a lot of people who would be buying are also kind of holding their wallets close to their ass because they don't want to let go of any kind of dollar. The problem is they're going to regret not picking up that $1,200 book for $800 because it will go up. This is, you know what I tell people comic books are like the stock market. It's like this, right? And
Yeah.
yes, it's slow and all that, but it picks up. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be picking up. I think it's self correcting because 2021 was crazy. That crazy 2021 was ridiculous. Books
Yeah.
that were selling really high should not have sold that high, but it is
Absolutely.
what it is. Now the ones who bought those books when it was really high are chewing. They're chewing their fingernails trying to sell it because they're not going to get what they put into it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do agree on that. And to your point about the market going up and down, that all that does shows a healthy market, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. What goes up must come down a little bit before going back up, at least in
At least
market sense.
a little bit. Yeah.
So that said, being a buyer's market, what is it that you've been targeting?
You know what? For a while now, I've been targeting the first appearance of the Sinister Six, and of course, I picked like the hardest one, right? Because we're talking ASM 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
right? All the low number ASMs. Like it couldn't be ASM 80, 800, and 1,000, whatever. No, I got to pick like the single digit ones, right?
Yeah.
I'm currently also trying to get the some rogues, the Batman rogue gallery of villains. Trying to get that as well. But that's it, man. Because you know what, my next plan is once I stop buying these, my next plan is to save up some cash and start slabbing my raw keys.
Yeah.
So
That's a pricey thing too.
that's also a pricey thing too, right? Because you got to and you got to. Luckily, I have a press and clean guy who's really good to me and gives me some deals. But uh, to me, I basically have a roll of slabs. I just have to slab them, right? I mean, they're all raw, they're in good condition.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like buying a new slab. So,
Yeah.
and I also have a box of other keys I need to slab up. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just hold off on buying after I get my grails, which is funny because the Hulk 181s, the X-Men one, Avengers one, they're they're not on my list. I guess because maybe it's so far reached that I already blocked it out of my mind that I'm never going to own one. So I'm not I'm not going to save all my pennies because the way I see it as if I save enough money to buy that 181, I could probably buy three of my other grails.
Yeah.
And I'd rather
Makes
have
sense.
quality. I'd rather have quality than quantity.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Absolutely makes sense.
quantity than quality.
Yeah, no, I got you. So when you're searching for these, do you typically look for slabbed already, or you just look for the best deal?
Yeah, you know what? This is another tip for you new people starting. Unless you, it's very hard. Raw books are very hard to sell because you, especially online, because you don't get to see it. Yes, you get to ask for
Yeah.
pictures, and people will do the picture of the front, the back, the center fold, and then maybe the indica to let you know what print it is. But it's very tough because unless they go through the book, there might be an ad missing that they're not paying attention to. There might be something cut out that they missed. So then you buy that book raw. You go, great,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go slab it, and then it comes back uh, a purple label because there's a page missing. So
Yeah.
now you're out of money from slabbing it, buying it. Now you're gonna go to the guy and say, hey man, what's going on? Oh yeah, sorry man, I thought I checked it. Oh, you're already screwed out. What are you gonna do? So
Yeah.
I now have the tendency to just only buy slab because at least I know that it's complete. I know it's missing a page. I know it's whatever. So it's your best bet
Yeah.
for
It's
me.
fun. It's funny. Funny you mentioned that because I'm dealing with that right now. I bought this off of eBay, and it's
Mm-hmm.
missing the first page. It's missing the splash page. So I'm dealing with that right now.
There you
Thankfully,
go.
I know what to look for. As soon as I open the book, I recognize it immediately. So I've contacted them. But that you mentioned new collectors. Let's talk about new collectors a little bit. That's definitely something. A good tool for new collectors would be to know how to count the pages, where to get the page counts at, and um, what are some other tips that you'd give to new collectors?
You know what? There's so many books now that a lot of second prints that look spitting image. You
Mm-hmm.
have to tell them, hey, do you mind taking a picture of the inside of the indica and showing me that it says first print? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Make sure you double check on that. One of the big uh, criminals of that is Star Wars. I bought a Star Wars once, Star Wars One. Didn't pay attention. I didn't really see the reprint, the little small blue box that said reprint.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that pissed me off. That's on me. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that was going on. So just make sure that you do, like you said, Greg, the page count. Make sure the staples are all there. Make sure have them take a picture of the side. Make sure that the spine is not split. Uh, Try to get a picture of all four corners, front and back. Make sure there's not any nothing major, nothing ripped, nothing no dog-eared where the corner is folded over. Um, a tick, if you guys don't know, a tick is where the book is a little indented on the spine. A lot of that can be pressed out, but if it's color breaking meaning that it turned white, it cracks the color. No printer will ever fix that. So those are the things to take into consideration when you buy a book and they're asking for a certain price. Once again, eBay last sold is probably your best friend. Go into your eBay last sold, find that raw, find out how much it's going for, find the quality of that one that last sold. Is it better than the one you're going to buy? Is it worse than the one you're going to buy? Do a comparison and don't be afraid to haggle. Um, if they know you know what you're saying and you're like, hey, listen, I saw one on eBay and it's beat to crap, and the one you're selling me is better, but you're gonna talk to them. Communication is key in this field, and a lot of people don't, and that's what pisses a lot of people off is that they have no communication skills.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. And to your point, kind of circling back a little bit about reprints, that's absolutely spot on because a lot of especially the newer reprints, it's really hard to tell. So definitely do your homework with that. Ultimate Fallout 4 is a big one because that reprint they put out about a year and a half ago looks almost identical to the original. Just the only thing that's different is that little barcode, and it's crazy that they made it so close. So
Yeah.
that's a very good point. Make sure that what you're buying is a first print, or if it is a reprint and you're paying a reprint price, that's fine too. But make sure you're not paying first print price for a reprint.
Hey, you know what? I've seen people get bamboozled because they didn't realize that 1966 book has a barcode that's 399 on it. Yeah, it's probably not a real book. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I've seen that a lot until somebody goes, "Hey, that says $3, right?" Because at first you see the picture, you're like, "It's a clean X-Men for really."
Yeah.
Like, oh wait a minute, 399, dude, that's not real. And they're like, "Oh, I just paid, I thought I got a deal for $100." You're like, "Oh no."
Yes. Yeah. So watch out for reprints. Absolutely. Very cool. Anything else that you touch on for new collectors? Any
uh,
websites that you use or that
well, I
you
gotta tell
find
you,
helpful?
yeah, believe it or not, these Facebook groups, they could hurt you or they could um, enlighten you. Hurt because you do get a lot of clowns. There's some people out there who really are truly new collectors and they really need some help. Then you have all the the old curmudgeon guys are like, oh, you don't know crap. And, well, yeah, that's why he's asking for help. You got to help the dude
Yeah.
out. We all were there. We all were there. If I would have known, I probably would have bought that reprint Star Wars. And someone said, hey, whatever you do, don't buy that because it's a reprint. I'm like, oh, right. Thank you for saving me some money. Join these groups, ask questions, look around. There's a lot of good, helpful people in there that are willing to help. You're one of them. I'm always touting to reach out to me if you guys ever need any help. I you got to help each other. We're trying to build this community to be very respectful and what it. I like to say it on the podcast. The comic community is a big, small community. It's big in size, but it's small because a lot of people know each other.
Yeah,
Right? A
absolutely.
lot of us know each other. We all run the same online circle when it comes to comic community. And all it takes is, right now, you talked about you like to do a lot of trading, and I'm not a big trader. But if you're new and you are buying something, whatever you do, if you do not know that person, make sure you pay. You do PayPal goods and services. Um, that is to protect you, your interests, your money. There's a lot of scammers out there, and when they see a newbie into the comic community, they smell you like a shark smells blood. And they'll go up to you and say, hey, I got this book. And you're like, wow, that's a great deal. Well, if it's too good to be true, most likely it is. Simple as that. You're not
Absolutely.
going to buy Hulk 181 for $400. Sorry, guys, it doesn't work out that. So
No.
do your homework, ask a certain people, ask the community, hey, has anybody ever done work with this guy? Has anybody ever traded with Caesar? Does anyone know Greg Ha? I mean, I'm talking to this guy. They'll tell you. Great guy. Absolutely. Trade with him, trade with confidence, or no, 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 no. That guy's a known scammer. He's been booted out of many groups. Do not do it. So the community
Yeah.
groups could be your friend. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Utilize the other people around you because most people are willing to help. That this is a PSA for the old heads that don't want to help. You have to keep growing the community, or the community is going to go away. So,
Yeah. Don't be
and get your
don't
kids
be a
to read
jerk.
comics.
Yeah, the moral of the story: don't be a jerk, man. I mean, yes, we have a lot of trolls out there that will post a picture of a X-Men one and say, "Hey, I just found this on my mattress. How much do you think it's worth?" Come on, we all know that you're BSing. You're just being a troll. We all get that and all that. But there's some genuine people out there who really don't know much about comics, or they're just getting into it, and be a little easy on them. Yeah,
That always makes me think of the guy that found the Action One in his drywall of like his grandfather's house. Like he
it
legit found
happens.
it in the drywall. Imagine that. That'd be best day of your life.
Yeah, well, that's the so that's the other thing, right? There are people who do find some sweet books at flea markets. With a little old
Yeah.
lady who's selling their grandson's comics or their deceased husband's comic books, and they don't know nothing. So that brings back the story of if you see a Hulk 181 that's in pristine condition, she's selling to you for $20. Do you give her the $20, or do you pull her aside and say this book is worth quite a few $1,000s? What
Yeah.
it's the moral compass. What do you do? Do you throw her a few extra bucks, or do you take it for 20 and then post it on Facebook and say, "Ha ha, look at what I got for $20 at a flea market," and then everyone's going to comment, "Well, you're a sad sack. So you took this old woman for her, you just completely just railed her, right?" And
Yeah.
they'll come back with, "Oh well, she should have known what she had." Does she though? I mean, she doesn't know. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's that's pretty messed up. Yeah. It's hard to swallow when you see posts like that. And for me,
Yeah,
anyway. That's,
yeah. I mean, I would probably just pay the $20 and then run. But that's just me. I'm just an asshole.
oh man, that makes me think. I just went over to a gentleman's house and he had me go through his collection and basically we had to sort everything out. What's valuable, what's not, kind of thing. So similar situation, but I didn't buy anything from him. I
Yeah,
helped him get some stuff submitted to CGC.
don't get me wrong. I would love to find some keys at some flea market. I mean, that's everyone's wish, right? I think you even made a post. Hey, look
Yeah,
what I found the trash can, right? Yeah, I know you're making
yeah,
fun of people. I see your Instagram, pal. I know what's going on. Uh, there's everybody wants that to happen. It's far in between, but it does happen. People do find some deals out there.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and eBay is a good thing to utilize too, because there are some deals on eBay. You just gotta keep your eyes open.
Right now, I'm telling you guys, it's a buyer's market. If you have the money to spend, by all means. If you're a flipper, it's also a good time because you could buy those books low and sell them high, maybe at the end of the year, mid-year. If you're a PC guy like me, it's one hell of a place. If you have the money, you could find some great deals out there to complete your PC list.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So there's one thing that we kind of wanted to touch on, the different types of collectors that are out
Ooh.
there. Now we touched on a few of them already. The cover collectors, the key collectors. What are some other types of collectors that you see out there, and which I wouldn't say bother you most, but which kind of pique your or prick your ears up a little bit when you when you see them out there?
All right. All right, people. Lean in real close to your screen so you could, or put the phone in your ear. You know, I preach you collect what you love. What you love. Just because you love something does not necessarily mean, right, that everyone else does.
Yeah,
I don't get the do you poo books. I don't get it. Naughty and nice. I don't get it. But I would never talk smack to those who do collect it. Because if that's
yeah,
what they want, if that's what makes them happy, cool. That's your money. I'm not buying the books for you. It's not my money. So collect what you love. Now, you have people like me who don't read. I found out there's more people like me than I thought that actually don't read the books, but they're collector of keys. That's what I do, right? I'm a big key collector. I collect first appearances or big parts of the reason for it to be big. Then you have the completists. I want every Amazing Spider-Man from 1 to 700,000, all raw. Fantastic. I feel sorry for your wife, but fantastic, right? Or your husband. Depends how much room you have. Then you have the ones going, I want to collect all the 9.6s of the ASM run from 1 to 50. Knock yourself out. Then you have the ones that are like, I read all my books. I would never encase them or entomb them in a plastic. All right, man. That's cool. But the problem is they will talk crap about those who do not read, who do not open their books and smell the pages and all that stuff. Like the purists, those are the purists, the ones who like comic books are meant to be read. Okay, great. I understand that. Doesn't mean that I need to follow that rule. There's people who buy these to crack them open to then save them raw. So the question is, why do that? Well, they say, at least I know the book's complete.
yeah,
All right. We just touched on that earlier. So if you buy a book that's a 5.0 slab and it's a blue label, at least you know the book's complete and it's in decent condition. And there you go. Okay. All right. If you want to crack it open and put it raw, that's your prerogative. So there's the ones who collect nothing but Iron Man. There's the one that collect by ASM, all the Thors, all the Journey to Mysteries. There's the one that collect nothing but Neo Adams, nothing the John Romita, all Stan Lee slabs. There's those guys. I collect all the Stan Lee slabs. Send me all your yellow slabs. So I collect all the. There's a niche for everyone, but no one has the right to tell you that your way is wrong. It doesn't
absolutely.
work. It's not your business. It's not your book. It's not your money. Who cares? Why do you get so worked up about it? There's Reddit groups solely based on stuff like this of
Yeah.
collect raw. Why you slab? I don't understand it. Why you spend so much money? Why? Because I want to. It's my money. It's what I do. If I get into a fight with my wife about it, that's on me. If she wants to yell at me for doing stuff like that, but you don't have the right. Collect what makes you
Not
happy.
that,
Man. Yeah, look at you. You like TMNT. I mean, that's your jam, right? I don't get it.
yeah.
I don't own a slab TMNT book, but I'm not gonna say, "Oh, Greg, you're an idiot for doing that. Why would you want it?" No, it's because it makes you happy. You know? Once again, it's your bank account. It's not mine. Just buy them all. I don't care.
Yeah. So that sounds like I need to talk you into TMNT.
I'm not buying it. Wait. Is it slabbed?
What's that?
Is it slabbed?
Wait,
If it's a slab,
I have a lot of slab stuff and I have a lot of raw stuff, but my TMNT is my PC stuff, so I don't get rid of it. But I can help you. I can help you if you want to buy something. I know I have some connections that can get you some stuff.
listen, I don't need it. The funny thing is, I also don't own a UF4. Now, my last name's Morales, so you would think I would want a UF4
Yeah.
with Miles Morales, right? No, I don't. That's the other thing too. I don't really collect moderns. Moderns just doesn't
Yeah.
do much for me. But what people don't know is that what I like to do is collect history. There's something about a book from 1950s, 1960s, and 70s that is in such a good condition because we all know how those kids treated those books. You know how they treated them? The way they were supposed to. They read them. They traded them. They folded it in their back pocket. They put it. They rode it home on their bike. They threw it on their bed the minute they got home from school. They read it in the classroom. So to find a book from 1962 that's pretty good condition, that means
Yeah.
whoever owned that book read it a few times and then they just left it away. And
Yeah.
nowadays, it's pretty impressive considering the fact of what's been going on from the 1940s to now for a book to still be in the 8.0s or even even the 6. That's impressive. So there's something about preserving history where moderns nowadays, and since I don't read, I don't care. Fantastic art. Don't get me wrong. We know a lot of artists who are up and coming and their work is fantastic. But the print run is very high, and I just it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Yeah. To your point there, in the 50s, it was just like a newspaper. They expected you to read it, throw it away too. So that's a whole other reason for the high valuations on a lot of that stuff.
I remember a lot of these were a lot of these were overseas because of the war. And it's the only way the soldiers got to kind of entertain themselves by reading these funny books that was sent to them in a care package by their wives and brothers and sisters and moms. It's very something very cool about that. It's very nostalgic, and there's nothing like a Jack Kirby cover like that one behind me that you see it and it's just like it's so cool. It's just old
Yeah.
and cool, and the drawing they did it all by hand. No digital art to help them out with. No, it's crazy. It's just great, and it's a cool thing to have.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on the digital art, and that bleeds over into like modern movies as well. I'm not as big on like the Pixar stuff as I was in like Lion King or Aladdin. I much more enjoyed the art from those movies, so I feel you on that.
It is different. If you ever, if anyone out there ever wants to get a good kick, watch. Go on Tubi, and Tubi's free. Go on Tubi and look up the old 1940 Superman cartoons. The animation it's so noir. It's clean. It's crisp. It's straight line, and these are for the 1940s. And it's just if you go on my Instagram, which is right there, I played a clip where Lois Lane picks up a machine gun and starts blasting the car. It's like that's it's crazy. Lois Lane would never shoot a gun, right? So different times, but listen, old Superman cartoons are just badass to watch, and it's just very cool. Times have
Yeah,
changed, man.
not Terry Hatcher.
No, not Terry Hatcher. I mean, there's not there's anything wrong with her, but
Lois Lane's changed a little bit over the years, it seems.
a little bit, a little bit. You know, the
Cool.
funny
Are
thing is,
there any comic? What's that?
go no, go ahead, Greg. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I would say, are there any comic-related movies that you have a fondness for, or you're looking forward
All of them.
to, past or present?
Listen, I'll watch them all. I don't care how bad it is. I'll still watch it. I won't like it, but I'll still watch it. I am looking forward to Ant-Man. I think a lot of people are. I think Quantum Mania is going to be it's going to be a good stepping stone for 2024. 24? Where are we in? 23?
23.
I just went to the future. And Black Adam's still bad. So, you know, the Quantum Mania thing is going to be fun. Looking forward to that. Um, and basically everything else is coming. I'll watch them all. You know, the funny thing is I have my wife watching. She cares less about this crap, but I make her watch all of them, even the Disney Plus shows, because I said you got to watch it because if you don't watch it, then you won't understand what's going on in the movies, or you won't understand what's, it
Yeah.
all feeds in together. Unfortunately, even
Yeah.
She-Hulk I watched She-Hulk. You know, we won't talk about that. But yeah, a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all of them.
Is there any movie in the past, like what would be your
Endgame.
favorite Endgame?
You know what? Endgame, Civil War, Doctor Strange, I enjoyed very much. Winter Soldier, I enjoyed very much. And Ragnarok, I really like Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Ragnarok really. That's why when I saw Love and Thunder, I was very disappointed because Ragnarok left you wanting more, and
Yeah.
when you watch Love and Thunder, it made you. If I felt empty inside. You know,
Yeah.
I felt like I was a shell of my former. I felt I was a shell of my former self when I. Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's never a good takeaway from a movie where you feel like you left with less than you went in with.
Oh God. Yeah. I walked in with a 10 and I left with like a 3. You know, I don't think I finished my Red Vines. I was upset. You know.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned quite a few of my favorite Marvel movies as well. But my number one movie you didn't mention. Were you not a fan of the original Iron Man series?
Number one, and believe it or not, I did not like 3, and I like 2 more than 3. A lot of people it's the opposite. They like 3 more than 2. But something about Mickey Rourke, I like that guy in that role. Uh,
Oh, I love Mickey in that role.
yeah, I like number 2. I enjoyed actually number 2. Number 3, for some reason, I didn't. Number 3 is the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian. The what's his name? Right? What's his name? The Ben Kingsley role. The Mandarin.
The Mandarin, yeah,
That
yeah,
whole thing, that's what soured me because I find out he's this actor and all, that I hated all of that. I despised it. And but the first Iron Man, the one that started it all, I remember watching the theaters going, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I mean, Iron Man is finally on the big screen and he's done right.
yeah. I agree 100%. The first Iron Man movie is still my favorite MCU movie, and it was the very first.
And
But yeah,
Endgame,
I still praise them for casting the casting of Downey Jr. as Tony Stark because they had a lot of grief for that. It worked out big time.
listen, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. And
Yeah,
bottom line, if you replace him down the road, I think there's certain roles that you cannot recast. And unfortunately, Iron Man is one of them. Captain America is another, and I think Thor. I think the original guys you can't recast. It's weird. It'll be weird to see a different Thor. The only reason why Black Panther worked out because they didn't. Black Panther is someone out because they're following the book as well, right? So that kind of worked out.
Yeah,
But you
and I
can
think, yeah, I think to further that too, I think that um, Hugh Jackman has worked his way into that too, huh?
Yep.
With the
No,
Wolverine character.
it'll be tough. The only way that would work is if a different multiverse Wolverine from a different multiverse, right? That's the only
Yeah.
way you can get away. The only way Disney and Marvel can get away by recasting someone is if they include them in a different universe. That's the only way.
Yeah. And that was ingenious with the Spider-Man. What they did with Spider-Man, bringing it all. The
That's
cash
right.
cow comes to
Yep.
it.
You can bring back now the Black Widow. You could just plug her out of one universe and drop her into another. You know,
Absolutely.
Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four doesn't have to be John Krasinski. They can recast him in a different actor because that actor was that Mr. Fantastic at a different multiverse. They can go. It's endless, endless, and you can recast anybody. They open up that door.
So we've spoken quite a bit about Marvel stuff. What about DC? What's your favorite DC movie?
You know what? Oof. You know, Wonder Woman is pretty strong. The first one. I'm not going to mention the second one because that makes my stomach just turn. But uh, you know, the first Wonder Woman was pretty cool. I got to admit, I do like the new Batman. I didn't
Okay.
mind when I first heard that Vampire Boy is going to be Batman, just like everyone else. I was like, really? But you know what? He held his own, man, and I was okay with it. I enjoyed that. The first Batman, not the first. Now, I'm a minority. I I don't think Michael Keaton's the best Batman. That
So
movie
you
doesn't
do too?
hold, it doesn't hold very well. It's weird. If you watch it now, it doesn't. I don't.
So who's
Christopher
Batman
Nolan,
in your eyes?
probably Christian Bale.
Really, Christian Bale.
Yeah, yeah. I think
You
Christian
go, I
Bale.
think you go old school and Adam West me there.
What's that? What's that?
I said I thought you were going to go old school and go Adam West on me there.
No, no. I'm not that old. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. The same thing with the Joker. You know, Heath Ledger was probably my favorite Joker, not Jack Nicholson. Um, yeah, you know, I do like Titans on the show, the TV show. They do good shows.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol is where's that? Doom Patrol is crazy. That show, if no one's seen
Yeah.
Doom Patrol, if you want to get into a mind trip, watch Doom Patrol on HBO Max. Eh, I'll turn around sometimes with my wife and say, "What the f did we just watch? What the hell was?" I don't understand a single word. I think I don't get it. You know. Um, and Titans is pretty good. But listen, with the whole new regime happening in DC, I just hope they kind of turn it around because Black Adam was a little underwhelming for me. I do like Man of Steel. I do like Man of Steel. Um,
Yeah.
that was strong for me. I do enjoy that one too as well. Yeah,
What did you think of Joker, the standalone?
that was all right.
Did you enjoy it? Kind of like a multiverse kind of feeling, right? It's a different kind of Joker.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of. I think the same way I like Batman, the last Batman. They do it in such a way that it could really happen. They did it so gritty that you can think to yourself, this could really happen in real life. No one's doing
Yeah.
crazy things. There's this crazy guy who's a super genius who's spewing out words and building this cult following of
Yeah.
people who like his words. And now they're going to dress like him. And that shit can really happen. And one guy who has a lot of money dressing up as a bat kicking butt at night. You know what? That probably can happen too if you really put your mind to it, I guess. But I think the same way with Joker, uh, sure, why not? It's a guy who lost his mind. Um,
Yeah.
Now what's going to happen with the second one? They're talking about a musical, and it's already happening. Lady Gaga and all that. Listen, I talk about this on the show all the time, Brett and I. If I can go to the movies and escape for 2.5 hours and not think about what's going on in the world with my personal life, with this and everything else, and I could just sit there and my mind could just disappear for 2.5 hours, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I,
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
I'll enjoy it. I'm fine with that. Unless it's Catwoman, great.
You're not a Catwoman fan?
No, not that movie. That movie is effing horrible.
What about Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman?
That's the best part about. Oh, wow, that's Michelle Pfeiffer was fine. I'll talk about Catwoman with Halle Berry.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. See, I don't even think of that.
You didn't think about it, right?
I still think Michelle Pfeiffer is definitely my Catwoman.
Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. No, she was our Catwoman. She was, other than like Eartha Kitt, I mean, she was the Catwoman, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of Peacemaker? Have you watched that?
Yeah, I did. It was surprisingly good. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I hate the intro. People love the intro. I hate the intro. See, I know you love the intro. I don't. I love it. I want to learn the dance. I skip it every single time. Now, I don't know if it's coming back. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I hope so. That's one of my favorite DC things that they've come up with in a long time. It was good.
Now, I will say the second Suicide Squad I did enjoy better than the first one.
Oh, the second Suicide Squad was awesome. Loved it.
It was good, yeah. The first one, that was it. Stupid, I didn't like it at all. They dropped the ball on that, and the best part that came out of that was Harley Quinn was the best thing that came out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Margot Robbie does a good job.
Yeah, so we'll see how this Lady Gaga does, but we'll see. I don't know. You know what? Once again, I'm also one of those guys that I'm going to go watch a movie, make my own opinion. I don't care what you say or what you think or whatever it is. I have to watch it. Same thing when I saw Avatar, the last one.
Yeah.
I formed my own opinion. I didn't care too much for it, but, it is what it is. But I'm not going to go not watch a movie because you say, oh, that movie blows. Well, hey, Greg said that movie blows, Lenny. Let's not go watch the movie. No, I'm going to form my own opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. If everyone had the same taste, it's just like anything in life. Everything would be vanilla.
Listen, I'm a Zack Snyder fan. One of my favorite movies is 300. I loved Sucker Punch. I don't mind Justice League, the Snyder cut. I'll watch that instead of the other one.
Yeah.
I like him. I like the way he tells a story. But there's many people who don't like it. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna say, well, you're an idiot for not liking Zack Snyder films.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Jon Favreau fanboy.
Go figure. That guy did Iron Man and The Mandalorian. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
The same guy from that movie Swingers, or
and Couples Retreat. He did a lot of great movies. That's a low key movie.
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. So let's kind of pivot away from the movies a little bit and get back to comics. What are you thinking about the market in 2023 here, leading into 2024? Since you're already in 2024, maybe you could give us a little more insight.
give you the insight. Buy more eggs. It's going to go up. it doesn't. It's not going to be this. It's probably going to start going up. I would say by the middle of the year, if not by the end of the year. Leading into 2024, it's probably going to be. It's going to start peaking up, and then it's going to drop. Right.
Yeah.
It's
I think
it's
it's going to
what
kind of coincide. I think it's going to kind of coincide with the San Diego Comic Con and the panels and all that stuff. You think that's going to tie into it, or you think it's a little bit isolated from that?
I think the days of books increasing in value because of shows are going the way of the dodo. It's not like before. Spec books, I think, now are dead. Um, it might bump up a book this much, but not like the way it used to. I think those days are dead. I think of owning a book because a certain character can come out in a movie. Nah, I think that book's going to go up regardless or not if the movie. It doesn't. It doesn't. I think those days are dead. Honestly, if you're going to collect the book, I have the Umbrella Academy, not because there's any spec on it, because I like the show, so I like the book. The boys, I have
Yeah.
the boys because I like the show. I want to own the book, right? So I didn't buy those books because the show's going to make it bump in value, and it hasn't. It just hasn't. People collect those books because they love the characters in the shows. That's the only thing. That's the only reason why a book will go up because I love that movie so much or that show. I want to be able to own the first print of that comic where it came from.
Yeah.
Not because of I'm going to buy 14 of these because that show's coming out next week, and then guess what? You're going to be stuck with 14 books of a number one that nobody wants because everybody else also bought 14 number ones because of that same reason.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all the variant covers. How do you feel about all the variant covers they come out? They come out with a book that has like 26 covers.
Oh God, you know what? Let's go back to the collectors. There's those guys who want to collect every single variant cover of that number one. The same way,
Yeah.
the same guys who like to collect all the homages of 300, number 300, right? The ESN 300. There's people who always want to collect, I want to collect every single one of these ever made from all the other comic books, fine. But the variants, to each their own. I'm not a fan of it. It's too much. It's an oversaturation. How many variants can you have? What was that New York Comic Con? Like 80 or 100 something variants or some goofy thing that is just ridiculous. It's too much. But once again, that's my opinion. That's your opinion. People could go in there and go, "Oh boy, I'm gonna get all these variants." All right, that's great, man. That's cool for you. Congratulations. Just not for me.
Yeah.
Some people think it's ruining the hobby. Some people think it's ruining the whole industry. Okay. That's fine. I
Yeah.
guess.
It depends on who's buying it, right? If collectors are buying it, then it's definitely not ruining the industry because like you said, if you're collecting what you like, I think that it's good for the industry. But if the only people buying them are flippers, then yeah, it might be a little counterintuitive with buying them in the first place.
Right. You're not the only flipper flipping, right? If it's
Yeah. And what are you gonna do? Gonna flip to each other?
they're gonna flip to each other, right? They're gonna argue of no, I'll give you 17. Oh, I'm gonna have to 18. Well, I'll give you 19 for mine. I'll give you 20 for mine. It's like it's a constant loop, right? It's I don't know,
And that brings me back to my old point about the old heads bringing in the new collectors. That's extremely important for the industry. It's extremely important to have people that care about the industry and teaching them things right off the bat when they come in it gives them a good taste in their mouth instead of a bad taste in their mouth because you might scare them off right away.
You know what? Kudos to those. I don't have a son. My daughter is going to be 20 next month, and kudos to you, Greg. And I know you have boys, right? And I'm pretty sure they learn what you put out there, or you teach them, and they grow up going, "Oh, my dad." And then when I got to a certain age, me and my dad collected comics. Me and my dad used to go to cons, and we would do this and this and that. And now I have his books, and there's something very cool about it. It's something you carry on in the tradition. So when they grow older, they're going to have a love for TMNT. They're going to have a love for Silver Age books. And then they have kids, and then they have kids, and that's the only way this industry and this community is going to stay strong and thrive. Think about it. We're in 2023. There are grandparents who've been collecting in their age. So this industry is not going to die anytime soon, but it might be watered down by greed. It might be watered down by people who want to make that quick buck. The days of that's why the days of collecting it might slowly get watered down to, oh my gosh, I can't believe we have all these books, compared to, oh, I only have one book. You were telling me that you had a buddy who sold basically his whole collection for one book. Okay, I could never do that. I don't love a character or a book that much to give up my whole collection for that one literal. For me, that would be a grail. Literally, right? You just put it on the mantle, and and it glows, and you know, like Indiana Jones, you do the swap, you know, with the stones, and that is literally a grail. I can't do that. I can't. I'm not that type of collector. But hey, man, kudos to people who have an AF-15, TOS 39. I know you have one. You know, those big books. I saw a guy on Facebook has a 9.8 Avengers 8, the first Kang, a 9.8.
Yeah.
Or a 9.8 Fantastic Four, first Silver Surfer, the 48. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's literally someone buying it, opening it once, and then put it away in their cupboard and bye-bye, then just forgot about it. That's unreal. Yeah. And that's why it's so damn expensive.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, for that book to even come off the press, a 9.8 with all the defects that they had back then is remarkable. For it to get a 9.8 now,
you just hit it. The notorious Marvel chipping. We all know that Marvel they had horrible paper. So to find any kind of book in decent condition, because they were known to have the Marvel chipping, you'll see where it starts to kind of flake off on the top, or it has the foxing on the bottom or the inside.
Yep.
It's those books. It's unbelievable to find any book of that high grade. Now that's a grail for anybody. If you happen to find a book from the 1960s, it's a 9 point something. Hey man, kudos to you. That book will never leave my sight. You would have to bury. Not even my daughter would get that book. Be buried with me. Sorry, it's just the way it is. You can buy a new house, but you're not. It's gonna be buried with me.
How long after being buried with you would it no longer be a 9.0? And then at that point, can they dig it up?
If it's in one of these, it'll still be a 9.0 because it's going to be entombed. Trust me. I'll actually have them sew it inside my body. How's that? So give it an extra protection.
Have your arms crossed it.
just literally hold the slab right there like a mummy's, like the pharaoh.
Dig you up in a couple thousand years, and you got your Drail on your chest.
Oh my, that's it. That's great, man. I like where your mind's going. Now you're giving me ideas.
Oh man. So if price was set aside and you could get any one book, what book would you get? If you could have it for free, any book.
Oh, any book for free? It would. I'm not gonna lie. It would.
Price
you know
doesn't
what?
matter anything. Like
maybe,
you can't sell it.
Maybe Detective Comics 27, the first Batman ever. It would probably be that, then an AF-15, and then the Action Comics one. You know, the big boys. But yeah, I would have to go with the Detective. Is it 27? Is that what it is? Is it Tech 27, the first Batman?
Tech 27.
Yeah, it would have to be that because it's so cool. It's such a good. I mean, come on, it covers from the 1940s. Was it 1940s or
Yeah,
30, 40s or 30s? It's that's so cool. I mean, come on. Yeah,
yeah,
it just screams coolness. You know, it's
yeah.
very noir. Very, it's so cool, man. I dig it. And yeah, probably. What's yours? Is that yours?
Tech 27, Tech 27 would probably be mine, but I put Batman 1 above AF-15. I mean, I've owned a couple AF-15s,
Oh,
but
see, that's why.
I would put
Yeah, you're like, oh,
I
AFFs.
would, I'd put Batman 1 because it's the first Joker. Very important book.
Ah, you know what? I do like I like what you're selling me, Greg. I think you're right. You know, I changed my pick. It's the Tech 27, then Batman 1, and then I'm gonna say yeah, and then the AF-15.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what
Those
though?
have always been my.
Was that again?
I was saying those have always been my two superheroes: Spider-Man, Batman.
Yeah, I just did. Oh, I didn't show you, Greg, but I just did my whole wall, my whole Batman wall. I would show you
Let's
now.
see. Some,
I don't know if you. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna.
will it turn? Oh, sweet, love it.
So
I can see a
that's
Harley Quinn in there. I can see Poison Ivy. I can see Scarecrow. I see some Ra's al Ghul.
yeah, yeah. You're right. A little
Yeah, some of
closer
it's a
here.
little. Yeah, some I see Two Face now. If I say it's a little blurry, hard to see, but I see
Hold on.
Penguin. Yes, I love that book. First Silver Age Catwoman. Man Bat. There's the Neil Adams cover. That's a one of my favorite covers there. That Neil Adams there.
Oh, wait, this one right here, right? A 227.
Yeah, yeah, right under the bat. There's this
And
Silver Age
then
Scarecrow. Silver Age Two Face.
and
Awesome.
the first Silver Age Solomon Grundy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's
Back.
my rogue gallery. I'm slowly trying to add a couple more, and then of course there's your second favorite, the ASM. So I'm on my way with the Sinister Six. So there's Mysterio,
Fantastic start.
there's the Annual, Electro, Craven. So I'm missing a couple, but I'm on my way, man. I'm working on it. I'm working
Yeah,
on
really, just two and three. Two and three are.
it. 2, 3, and 4. So
Yeah.
I'm missing
Okay. Four.
Sandman, Doc Ock, and Vulture.
Yeah, Doc
Yeah,
Ock is always one of my favorites. Cool book.
yeah. See, Doc Ock is pretty cool, right? I mean, that's the funny thing is I have a 180, but I don't have the 181 because I can afford the 180. And, it's kind of funny. It feels like somebody's always selling a 181 sometime or another. It feels like there's an 81. It seems that there's a saturation of 181. It's kind of odd,
They change hands a lot. They do.
don't they?
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll see one of the
I've had
you'll
way
see
more
one
than I have now.
you'll see one of the Facebook group, and you'll see a comment going, "Yeah, I know that book. Yeah, because you owned it, and so did 45 other people."
Yeah,
And that's the
exactly.
thing because they bought it low, and then they sold it high during the time to make that money, and now they can't sell it back to what the money they paid for because no one's paying the top dollar that people are doing. The other thing I'm doing, I'm looking forward to, is I did a pre-order for my next timeless variants.
Alex Ross.
So I'm gonna get all the villains and put it on this wall to match the heroes.
Fantastic. Yeah, Alex Ross is out of this world, isn't he?
You know what? Growing up, when I first, well, not growing up, but when I started getting into comics and I discovered Alex Ross, I loved his art. Something about the way he drew them so realistic, and especially in that Marvels run, just Marvels, and it has that storm sort of landing on the street, and people are like freaking out or the heat. The way he portrayed it, the way he would really probably look if a guy on fire flew from the sky and landed, that reaction of the people around him, that's what he caught. The facial expressions, the reflection of people, love it. He is fantastic. That's one artist I would probably love to have a beer with, or a glass of scotch. Actually, I would buy that guy a glass of scotch. Alex, if you ever watch the show, come to Mexico. I'm going to buy you a glass of scotch. How's that?
So maybe we'll take you up on that. But I don't see Alex at very many shows. I make it to a lot of shows, but I don't know that I've ever
I don't think he does a
seen
circuit
that one.
anymore.
I'd say thinking about it, I've seen a lot of artists, but I don't remember ever seeing Alex at a show.
Who's your favorite?
My favorite artist, past or present.
All the time.
Past, I would say Alex Schomburg. I'm a huge Alex Schomburg fan. I love his. He did exciting comics, thrilling comics, Captain America. I'm huge. I love collecting Golden Age Captain America. It's a very expensive endeavor, but thankfully I got most of my issues a while ago. Present, present. I'm a big Kevin Eastman fan. I'm a big Todd McFarlane fan,
Shocking.
and I'm a huge uh, big fanboy of James O'Barr. He does the Crow series. He created the Crow series. He wrote the Crow series, and he's one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. Man, he's a really cool dude. How about you?
That you know what? Believe it or not, that's a book I wouldn't mind owning. Crow #1, first print. I wouldn't mind. I actually would not, because growing up in the '90s, I loved that movie, and that's what introduced me to the whole Crow thing, right? So yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Past, I would say Bernie Wrightson. Something about his art, something about that, and I think I talked to you about it on the Facebook group. Something about that House of Secrets 92 is just so cool, right? LB Cole was very cool too. You know a lot of the golden. I never got to Golden Age because it's too crazy. It's too expensive. I don't own one Golden Age or pre-code. They're crazy prices, but yet not so crazy. If you get one that's out of key or what have you, they're affordable. They're absolutely affordable. If you want to get a 1949 or 48 pre-code, sure, that's cool. But I would like to start maybe in the next life create a bunch of golden pre-code horror, because that's a big thing. That's another big thing of collectors do, right? They love to collect the pre-code, nothing but horror. That's fun. It is really fun. What's that one famous one where the guy's holding the head and the hatchet? True
Crime
Crime.
Suspense Stories. It's Crime Suspense Stories 22. That's one of my. I'm a huge EC fan. It's one of my favorite covers.
It's a very cool, and it's something that would never fly, never fly now. Really, I mean, and to think these were read by kids, they weren't really writing these books and producing them for adults to buy. Oh, these were for like 12, 15
it was part
year olds.
of
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
that book was part of the Sodi trials where it was presented in front of Congress to put an end to that. So that was part of that.
What is it? The loss of the innocence, or what is it? The
yeah. So yeah, something along those lines. Loss of the Innocence, the book that was put out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame. I mean, listen, I don't like the fact that they censored it, but it was there's some pretty gnarly covers of those days, man.
Yeah.
Listen, if you viewers haven't had a chance to just go back and just go like, what's pre-code? All those new guys maybe watching the show. What's pre-code? What's EC? What's all that? Just Google that shit. Google it, and you're going to go down a rabbit hole. And you know what? Don't be surprised if you go, hey, you know what? I want to start collecting that.
Yeah. And I actually I can put a link below to some of my videos for EC related stuff, because I'm a big EC nut. So
there you go.
I'll put that below. If you guys are new, you can check it out.
Yeah, it's fun. Listen, this community, this hobby can be very fun. I am very grateful that I've got to meet a lot of good people because of the community. Not
Absolutely.
not only that, it's good people who enjoy the same thing you do, and
Yeah.
it's a very strong and positive feeling to be able to hit up anyone at any given day and say, "Hey, look what I got in my mail call," and they're like, "That's fantastic, man. That's awesome. Here, let me show you what I got." Oh, get out of here. That's great. There's something really cool about that. There's this brotherly comrade feeling being in the trenches community with this. And it could be also very toxic, but if you avoid the toxicity, it could be very fun. I met Greg because I think I saw a few of his some of your clips on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like this guy. So I asked him once to come on the show and on the Comic Fanzine show, and came on as a guest, and we had a blast. And ever since then, I've stayed friends with him, and all because of this community. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't know Greg from anyone. So it's really good to get into these communities, build a friendship, see who you're trading with, see who you're talking with, build a trust, and that's how you grow your books. That's how you grow your love for this hobby. And we all have our separate feelings of what we like. He likes his pre-code stuff and all the expensive shit that I can't do because those golden age Captain Americas, awesome. They're awesome for a reason, and they're expensive for a reason. Um,
I haven't bought one in a
but that's cool to have, man. They're cool to have. But see, you like to trade, so you're more likely to trade something and see. What would you trade a PC book for a Golden Age Captain America?
for a bigger PC book. It depends. I have in the past, but it's typically I don't. It has to be something I really want and can't buy with money, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Something that's too
Listen,
expensive to buy at the time, anyway.
so the other thing people are going to ask is how are people able to afford big books? Um, there is a couple ways. There's saving your money. Go out and mow extra lawns every weekend if you want to. Put that stuff in your underneath your mattress. Two, you meet people who do payment plans, and nowadays more and more people are doing payment plans on bigger books. And three, trade, trade, and be like my buddy here, Greg, who loves to trade. And there's guys like him throughout this community who will get their big books by trading. And it's that old game of I walk in with the matchstick and I leave with the bicycle into a flea market because it's the bartering
Yeah.
thing. So you trade for a book um, that it's a decent because the guy wanted something you really had, and now you trade that book for something that you want that somebody wants your book. It could be complicated. A lot of people do trade and cash, but trading is probably your best bet. But the problem is you got to have something worthy of trading, and that's the
Absolutely.
catch. That's the catch. If you don't have anything to trade and you have nothing but modern variants, good luck, because everybody already has the model variants. You got to have something that nobody has that often. So good luck on the trading, but it's fun. It's fun, and that's how you build up
Yeah.
friendships too.
Absolutely. That's how I've met a lot of my good friends uh, in the niche is just doing trades with them and then doing multiple trades. And I can't tell you how many buddies that I have that we get together at shows and everything else now. It's really cool. But you're
Yeah,
right.
the
Trading is a really good way if you're willing to put the time into it.
that's what it is. It's time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of back and forth, right?
Absolutely. And you have to, like you said before, you got to be safe about it. Check your references. Check their references. Um, don't just take people's word for it right off the bat when they came out of nowhere with a book that's like you said before, way cheaper than what it should be. You have to due diligence.
Yeah, man. Ask for pictures of them holding the book. Have them coin something. But have them send you a video with the book in hand saying, hey, this is my book. I'm flipping it, putting it around, and do all this stuff. Because what people do with Photoshop nowadays, if you just say, well, can you just put your name next to the book? Or just Photoshop a piece of paper next to the book and go, here it is. That doesn't work anymore. You want proof. You want video. You want someone going, hey, how's it going? Let's jump on a cam real quick so I can actually see you with the book. There's a lot of shady people out there. You got to protect yourself.
100%.
And pictures could be manipulated. Video, not there yet. Not so easy.
Yeah, a little tougher for sure.
A little tougher. Absolutely. And the other thing, and I've been preaching this, and Greg, you'll probably explain and also agree, if you're going to send a raw book into grade, we highly recommend you get your book pressed, and if it needs to be cleaned as well before you send it in to get it slabbed. There are tons of Facebook groups out there that will recommend pressers. I have a guy. I'm pretty sure Greg actually has a guy. We all have a guy. It's like the mob. We all know something. We have a guy. And I'm not a big fan of the grading company's own pressing services, CCS for CGC, and I don't know what CBCS calls theirs. I'm not a big fan. To me, I think you're just part of the herd, kind of a cattle thing, and they just press your books and they just move it along. A presser, a guy who may or may not be his full job, they take a little bit more care pressing your books. They take more time.
Absolutely.
It's worth the wait. If they tell you there's a 2-week wait, it's worth it because they will take the time, and they will also, the good guys will say, I can't press this. The book's too brittle. I don't want to mess it up. It's going to pop the staples. I'm going to make the book worse than it already is. Those are the good guys. Those are the ones you want because there's ones out there like, yeah, I'll press it, and they completely ruin your book by pressing it. So if you need any recommendations, ask Greg, ask me, ask anyone in the community. We'll send you to somebody. But I highly press. If you go, well, my book doesn't need a press. The press will always catch things that your eyes will not see. And if the grader is actually having a good morning, he'll pick it up. So always press and clean before you submit. That's Cesar's your Uncle Cesar's tip of the day.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, just like with trading, guys, definitely check your references when it comes to pressers too. If like Cesar said, if there's a turnaround time of 2 weeks, that's usually a good sign, not a bad sign, because that means that they're popular and people are using them. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
That's right.
You don't want someone to have your book for 4 hours and send it right back, because that means that's the only book you probably did that day.
Right. You're probably right. You don't. Right. You want to go to the Mexican restaurant where it was the long ass wait. You don't want to go to the one that, there's no one in there eating. So I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yep. Very, very true. Very, very true. Well, awesome, Cesar. We've been it's been a nice conversation. I thank you so much for coming on here with me. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just we're gonna be. Let's see, you'll probably put this up maybe sometime tomorrow. So we're probably gonna be coming back on Comic Fanzine starting this Wednesday, the 25th, 10 p.m. East Coast time, 9 Central, 8 o'clock Mountain, 7 Pacific. You can find us on Facebook, on the Comic Fanzine Comic Fanzine Facebook page, and we're also on the Comic Menu on YouTube. Yeah, try to say that 5 times fast. Comic Menu on YouTube, and start following me on the Insta there at the Real Dracula's Wolf on Instagram. You know what? I just started this crap last month. I'm a little behind, but I'll put up some books and some videos and my little things in here and there, and follow this fool right here. This guy's always putting up some good stuff. He has I really enjoy your videos, Greg, with the the comic climate and where it's at and the drops and all that. And even by you doing those shows, it proves, right? Some of these books have been dropping a lot. And numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
No.
We could all speculate, but the numbers don't lie. Other than that, thank you, Greg, for having me on, and surely we're going to have you on this soon on our show. We'll have you. I'll give you a call and have you jump on, and we'll talk some more crap with the guys, and look forward to it.
Yeah, I absolutely look forward to it. I was telling Dell I got to do the one chip challenge. I was jealous of those guys. It looks like it's torture, but for some reason it's pulling me in. I want to try it.
Do you really want to try that?
I really
Well, you
do.
look like, listen, you're younger than I am. You're nice and fit. You might be able to deal with. I don't want to see the future again because I saw it. I saw everything. I saw my death. I saw ghosts. I saw things. I saw dead relatives. It's crazy. It was. Listen, if you want to go see it, if you want to go see me sweat like a stuck pig, the comic menu on YouTube, look through it, and you're gonna see Packy Challenge, One Chip Challenge. I don't recommend it. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. We had so many viewers because they like to. I found out our viewers like pain. They like to watch pain, and oh yeah, they were going crazy. Those comments were flying about. Make sure you drink monkey piss; it'll help you. And Cesar just died. And the comments were probably the best part. I'm trying to read it as my eyes are filling up with, and then I had milk, and then it was a big mess. But hey, by all means, Greg, try it. I think you know what? I'm gonna talk to Dale and Brett, and I think we might have you jump on so you can do it.
Oh yeah, I'm down. You said you saw yourself dead. Were you holding your comic?
Yeah, I was like I had one slab here, the one in the middle. I was like a pharaoh. I was holding it like it rose from my body, and I saw myself. So I'm already sweating just thinking about it again. Jesus Christ! But thanks, man. Thanks for having me in the show. Bringing back bad memories. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and I really do look forward to coming on your guys' show. It's always a fun time watching, and I really did enjoy coming on that one time and getting to talk about what I love most is comic books, other than my kids and my family. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Comic books and kids and family, and wife.
They're in there somewhere. We don't have to tell them where.
We talk about spec books. We talk about the movies. There's a lot of crap talking, a lot of ish talking in the comments. It's a big family, and come on in, be part of the family, and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll link all their stuff below. I'll link your Instagram as well below here, and follow Cesar. He's a great guy, fun guy to talk to. All over the place on Facebook, just like me, and that's cool. I see Cesar commenting on all the stuff that I'm commenting on too. So you very like mind. So it's cool seeing you around.
Yeah, man.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
As if I don't have a job, but I do. But yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, jobs, whatever. This is more fun.
Thanks, guys.
Cesar, hope to have you on again sometime soon, buddy.
Hey, man.
I look forward to being.
Sounds good, man.
Look forward to being on your podcast.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Have fun. Stay safe. Buy comics, buy collectibles. Until next time, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later.